Hey there, Taurus. It's Jen here from tarotspirit.net, and my website is actually up and functioning again. I went to look at it. I'm not on there all that much checking it. I probably should be, and it was completely gone. I guess I got the WordPress white screen of death, which is literally what they call the error, the glitch. But it's back up in case you want to order a reading or something. And a lot of, well, some of the, you've got quite a few different cards than the other signs, which is nice because I felt like I've been giving the same reading over and over again for these March readings. Let's get focused. Taurus, March 2018. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, you've got some different cards. All right, I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted. At the bottom of the deck is this moon card. This is the Vicevesra tarot. It's a really cool deck. It gives two different perspectives. We got a crab here for Cancer. Full moon is March 1st for timing. So coming into March, I feel like you guys may be a little bit, sometimes your emotions just don't, you're not really even sure why, but you're just feeling a little uneasy about things. It's hard to see clear. If you've ever been out, when you're outside and it's like a moonlit night, like it can be really invigorating and exciting on one hand, but on the other hand, there can be weird shadows and things can just seem distorted, whereas in the light of day, that all goes away. It's an illusion. So it may just be saying to just sit with your feelings for a bit and realize that they will get sorted out. Like, it's temporary. And I guess what I'm going to say is just not to worry, to give it a little bit of time and that things will sort themselves out. And to be okay to, it's hard. I think, this is things like addictions come into play. It's hard to sit with uncomfortable emotions and not want to, and just sit with them. It's really hard. I don't necessarily know how to tell you how to do it, but if you can sit with them and feel them, and they often pass, and if we're lucky, we can learn something from it at the same time, So in March, it's like, but maybe it's that uneasiness though that is propelling you to really think about things. The Three of Wands is about getting a higher perspective. Usually it shows someone up on a mountain, but you can see he can see very far in this picture. He's looking ahead, and that's the other side if you're curious. So he's looking to the future, like, where am I going? Where have I been? And say you're a bird up high, you can see, way, way further. So sometimes when you're in the thick of something, it's very hard to see, like, this is how it's going to be. This is how it's always going to be. It's very hard to get that perspective. But if you look about the whole timeline of your life, you can see how, okay, this is temporary. This isn't how it's always been. And therefore, it's not how it's always going to be. So let's keep things in perspective and let's look to the future and moving forward and how to move forward. So we're not stagnant in an energy we don't like. It's mirroring each other on this side. We have the Devil and the Death card. And you can see the back of the Devil card, sorry. And the Devil, and here's the Death. So the Devil card is, yeah, kind of, so there could be something with addiction. And lots of times the addiction is our own negative thinking, getting caught in that negative cycle of just beating ourselves up, and you're not good enough, and you're not smart enough, and you're not pretty enough, and you're not buff enough, and you're not whatever, you're not creative enough, you're not interesting enough. We all just tell ourselves these negative things all the time. And it's a bad habit. And it's a really, really big deal. You know, our brain just can really screw with us. And we can obsess about good things, really, if you think about it, just as easily as we can obsess about bad things. But we have to actively work on changing that dialogue in our head, because that is the filter which we're looking at everyone else and everything else in our life. And if we're just saying negative things all the time, then we're just going to be seeing negative things, and we're going to perpetuate that negativity. So trying to break free of any negative habit is what the Devil card is all about. It's interesting. The people are naked, but they're covering themselves up. So on one hand, it's also, there's a bit of like shame I'm feeling. And again, I don't think it's real. And I always look at the Devil card as codependence. So, you know, really being careful not to take on other people's problems as your own. And the Death card is about transformation, just transforming that energy we were just talking about and changing those patterns so that, you know, you live in a different way. You transform. The caterpillar turns into the butterfly, and it's the same creature, but it never becomes the caterpillar again. So really moving forward and letting things that don't serve us go away, die, whatever, if you want to put it that way, so that we can move forward in a new way. So you have these 2 nines too. You have the 9 of Swords, which is worry. This is that this is that obsessive energy of being up at night and worrying, and just your mind just racing and having insomnia and anxiety and just going over and over and over and over those things. This is all mirroring back to that Moon card for me. And so, and this is, it gets exhausting. Like it's exhausting worrying about things. So it's almost like getting to the point where you just surrender and you're just like, I'm not going to worry about it anymore, and we'll just see what happens. Because worrying about things really does nothing but make yourself miserable. It rarely, you know, prevents anything. And so you're just like, you're throwing your hands up. You're like, F it, I'm not worrying about it anymore. I'm letting it go. I just feel like I just want to take a huge deep breath and let it out. Just like stop being fearful. And I know I don't mean to be flip, because it's much harder. So I'm not saying, oh, just stop. But it's like you have to wrap your head around it. You have to be sick enough. What is that Elizabeth Gilbert says? You have to be... Change starts with someone getting tired, I'm saying it completely wrong, but the gist of it is like, change starts when people get sick of their own bullshit, basically. Like, you have to get sick enough of your own bullshit that you just can't stand yourself anymore. You can't stand it, and you want to change. And for some of you, I feel like it's like, then you're going to look at this. There's this nice lady in the background. It's like he's gotten sick of his own bullshit, his playboy ways maybe, and to be like, no, I don't want to. I'm exhausted dating and playing the field. Like I'm ready to just settle down and not let my own insecurities and crap cloud the situation. You're gonna start. So that's what I see. It's like once you can let go of that, surrender to that fear and anxiety, and say, you know what, I'm gonna live my life anyway, because why not? I'm here, and getting rid of baggage. This my favorite card right in the middle, the Fool card. And he's like, he doesn't have lots of stuff. He's not tied down. He's not overburdened with worry. He's like carefree. He's like, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna go for it, and it'll be. Here's the back. It'll be what it is. But I have to live, because sitting there and worrying isn't serving me in any way. And again, a higher perspective. Look, he's up on the top of this mountain, and he's like, where do I want to go? Like, I got to stop worrying about the present, or how do I want to say it? Yeah, it's like you gotta get out of your head. And so some of you may literally need to go hiking. Maybe you need to do wild, right? Maybe you need to go get some perspective, get out of it, and realize that if you're not there worrying about it, things will, like, life will still go on. It'll be okay. Like, it will be okay. And then once you can do that, look at, like, a new life, a new lease on. You're like, I'm gonna move. I'm gonna change my health. I'm gonna get a different job. I'm going to go to India and learn to meditate and get out of my head. I'm going to travel. I'm going to travel. I want to travel, but I've always been afraid of flying, and I'm going to travel. I'm going to, it's that type of energy. And what's so beautiful, and I skipped her. I'm going to be a rock in this ocean, with this ocean of emotions around me. I'm still grounded. I can feel my feelings, but not let them control me and overwhelm me. That's the maturity of this Queen of Cups. And it's like, once you surrender and let go of all that, look at this beautiful. So we have the star, which the star card represents healing, and this Two of Cups, which is just, like opening up. It's almost like you're in some area of your life, like you were just barricading, allowing new things in with stress. It was like your shield, your barrier, your armor, but it didn't let any good in. And you're like, hey, you know what? If I'm going to let good in, I got to take off this barrier. And sure, it may let some bad in, but I'll deal with it. But I'm not letting anything in but just negativity and stress. So you got to get rid of that stress. And so for some of you, you're going to start exercising. It's going to be really key. You're going to change your health. You're going to stop, instead of having and I'm not even saying you're an alcoholic or anything, but it's like, you know what? I'm going to come home, and the way I'm going to deal with my stress is, one, I'm going to use visualization. When I walk through that door, I'm going to imagine going through this force field or something. And when I go through, it's going to pull all the negativity out of me. And then I'm going to get on my shoes, and I'm going to get outside and get grounded and being nature and walk, because being outside and and exercising clears my head. And I'm going to, you know what I mean? So it's like you're going to really use tools to cope with things in a healthy way, and surrender. Like you're just going to lose that fear and be able to bring in all these new opportunities, including deeper relationships or new relationships that you're going to be able to connect on a much deeper level than you ever had before, because you were afraid before. Okay, you're like the longest reading, Taurus. I'm going to end it there. Have a lovely month. Take care.